Yeah, today is 12:45 in the morning. Right now it's May 17, 2026. And I've had a lot on my mind again. The first thing is, lately, I think I've been losing my spark. And I want it back. I want to be the type of person that I was a few months ago. Whenever I'd come home, I'd read a book. I'd read parts of a book. I'd draw, play guitar, work on myself. There are many things that I want to do right now, and there are times when motivation is the only thing that drives me. I have motivation, but I don't have discipline. So, it's been hard lately because the people I'm surrounded by, other classmates, colleagues, they're way ahead in they're way ahead of me. Most of them have already most of them have work experience, and I don't. I have zero experience in terms of work. Mainly because as a student, as a dependent, back when I was just a high school student, I was a dependent. My dad was the worker, an overseas Filipino worker in Saudi Arabia. I was a dependent. I can't get a job because it's not allowed because I'm a dependent. I mean, to be fair, those in the Philippines have the same situation, kind of, where it's very rare to see someone who's not in college to have a job because you're way too focused with your high school stuff. But here it's different. They know how to drive. No, I know how to drive. I just don't have a license. They have their licenses, driving licenses. Some of them already have cars. They're used to traveling. They're open to making many other experiences that I myself am not really a fan of. They value connections. I do too, but a different type of connection. I'm not. Making friends is easy for me. Maintaining them is not. That's one thing I struggle with, and that's one thing that they have against me. Job experience, as I've said earlier. Now that I've laid it down, it's not that much of a gap between us. It's just job experience. That's it. The rest doesn't really matter. It's driving me mad. I need to catch up with them. But it takes time. And I feel like I'm running out of time. This summer, I want to get a job here, but that requires me to learn the language, which I don't. Unless the company hiring is an international company, I guess. Listen, I don't need the job to earn money. I need a job to put it in my CV. This summer, either I get a job or I work on a project that I've been thinking of for a while. And I feel stumped. Another thing that came up is the fact that I may or may not have lost my scholarship. I've gotten a bunch of messages from the Department of Finance saying, oh, you have to pay this amount, you have to pay this amount. But I thought it was nothing. I thought of it as nothing because this exact situation happened back in the first semester. And it went away on its own. I emailed them about it and they were like, oh, since you've already paid for the full year, then you don't really have to worry because the system will automatically get it. But it's two payments, right? One is 800 and the other is 1,200. That 1,200 got a 500 euro like deduction from it because of the scholarship. But this time, this semester, it didn't deduct 500. So that means I've lost my scholarship? But I maintained my grades above 8. So no way I lost it. Honestly, I don't know. I'm waiting for a response by them on Friday. It's a bummer if I lost it. If ever I lose it, I was thinking of losing it this semester. Yes, I'm not really doing well this semester. I'm doing well. Everything's above 8 except that one math midterms. I feel like these problems are in my head most of the time that I can't even think properly. I haven't gone to the gym in a week. In a week. I've been LARPing gym. Like there's this app called Lift Off where you log all of your exercises. I've been LARPing it. I've been pretending to be working out at home even though I wasn't. And instead, I say in my head, they'll understand because I'm studying, but I'm not studying. I had a 2 day break yesterday and the day before, and I did nothing but play. And I wasted so much time. I didn't get anything done during those times. I passed my computer drawing thingy, but I've already done the work. I just needed to compile it, so that's an easy task. I've done nothing of value, even today. Now I'm left with tomorrow to do my part, understand the physics, electrical circuits, formulas bullshit, solve, do my part in the physics problem solving bullshit, do the paper, do the presentation. 4 shits. Then I have a defense in theoretical mechanics for the homework that I've done over 2 weeks ago already, but I haven't even started to review on yet because the way I did it, I just depended on AI to get the formulas. I didn't understand any of it, I just applied the formulas. Next is I wanted to improve my CV to tailor to something that has only a uh, high school graduate title in them and nothing else, and how to include all of my other achievements there to showcase my practicality and to showcase my ability to use theoretical knowledge in IRL means, things like that. I wanted to draw, I wanted to read more, I wanted to play the guitar. I haven't touched my guitar in 3 weeks, bro. I haven't learned anything new in 3 weeks. I'm losing my spark. A while ago, I told myself, okay, so I'm gonna head to the gym, I'm gonna head to YP, and then I'm gonna head to the gym after, then I'm gonna get some work done. I didn't do any of that shit. I just was home, played 2 games of Valo. Right when I finished, it was time for YP. I wanted to go because I wanted to give a gift to Pastor and the other members of the church group. Bullshit. But I didn't. It's like I'm bound in the house. It's whatever. Tomorrow shit will change. I'll wake up, I'll go to church, I'll give the gifts, I'll head to the gym, I'll go back home and I'll do theoretical mechanics and or the presentation itself. But for that to go smoothly, I need to finish everything that there needs to be finished in physics before I sleep. And that takes 3-4 hours. I'm down for it. I have to. But before that, I just need a way to clear my thoughts, express how I feel, say it out loud. I wanted to make 2-3 points. The first one, embracing loneliness isn't a bad thing. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before in these videos, but One philosophy that I've had in my mind lately is that self isolation leads to you knowing yourself, embracing yourself, and doing everything it is to improve yourself. Life is a selfish game, and I'd rather be a selfish prick than a people pleaser. I'd rather do everything for myself by myself, through myself and myself alone, rather than someone who relies on help from other people or validation from other people. You should do everything yourself. That's why you should isolate. I've always hated being alone. Back in junior high, the friend group that I formed all left me. And I was forced to live through senior high school on my own. I've made a circle, but not as tight as I wanted to be. And that's fine. Because I told myself that from that day forward, I won't be attached to any of the new friends that I make. Because I'm scared of them leaving me. Same thing with my ex. I told myself, I don't want to be attached to her. This was before when it became a thing. I don't want to be attached to her because if she leaves me, it'll hurt. I knew I loved her even though we weren't together yet. But deep in my mind, I already knew that it wasn't gonna work out. We were a pair. We were like twin flames. We were meant. I'm thinking about it objectively, but we were meant for each other at one point in our lives. A lot of things happened, and I would describe our relationship, the whole thing, as a missed opportunity. There are many times where I could have been with her when she was actively looking for me, but I left during public school events. Missed opportunity. If I wanted to study in the Philippines, my parents told me go for it, but I decided not to because I was scared. I I I I, I wanted to study abroad, but she left. She went to the Philippines. I could have followed her, but I didn't. Missed opportunity. But to be fair, she was also giving me false hope by saying it's a 50-50 between staying in Saudi and moving to the Philippines. So it's a gamble. Heads or tails. And I lost. Then I always knew it wasn't gonna work. Even though we were meant for each other, it wasn't going to work out. Because it was too perfect and we were too young. Does that make sense? When everything seems like it's aligning for you, but it's not the right time yet. So when we broke up, I didn't feel anything. In fact, I felt like a burden was lifted off my shoulders. But the happiest moments of myself, my happiest moments during our quote unquote relationship was when we got together. When we were on our first quote unquote date. And when I broke up with her. That's my 3 happiest moments. But even though I can't get her out of my mind still, there's a lot of lot could have been done. As I said earlier, missed opportunities. But the one time through the summer, the one time that I had something planned, I had an opportunity and I was gonna chase it. That's when we broke up. Because she fucking cheated on me. With a guy that he said reminds her of me. Astonishing. Missed opportunities, huh? I was gonna give her a book. White Nights by Dostoevsky. A book with annotations dedicated to her. With some of the gifts that she gave me. With some handwritten shit. A lot of redacted text because I was in my feels at the time. Highlights. More redactive texts. And a thank you. And in the end, it was gonna be some kind of letter. So fucking cringy. But no, this book is mine. The reason why she's still on my mind is because there wasn't a final goodbye or anything. We just talked about life. Mind you, this was literal months since we last spoke to each other. Then when we finally talked, we just broke up. Talked about life for a bit. Said, sure, we can stay friends. Then I fucking blocked her the next day. I felt betrayed, bro. I don't like that feeling. I don't like the feeling of someone that I've formed a relationship with, that someone I've loved, just moving away again. Especially someone who in my head is someone that understands me truly for who I am. That understands me truly for who I am. That's why after it, I told myself, the only person that should understand me better than anyone is this guy, myself, right? I'd rather be a selfish person than someone who pleases everyone. The complete opposite of what she is. Speaking of opposites, I also, my type has always been consistent. My type in girls, I want someone who's radiant, with pretty eyes and a sharp mind. And now, lastly, someone who holds firm, someone with a backbone, someone who thinks to themselves, I want this, so I'll get it. I don't want this, so I'll get rid of it. Stern, firm, does not bend, does not conform. Because that's the only thing that she lacked. I can't help it. She's still always on my mind. It disappears for a while, but it always comes back. I've dreamt of her 18, 17, 18 times since we last broke up. And it's almost been a year. Just A month more and it'll be a year. It's been 11 months. 11 or 12. I forgot, but 10 months. It's been 10 months. That's whatever. White Nights. This is the third best book I've read by Dostoevsky. The first one is A Dream of a Ridiculous Man. The second one is Crime and Punishment. Third one, White Nights. It's good. You should read it. It's short too. The second point I like to make is an essay that I wrote. I'm just gonna pull it up here. But I'm not gonna read it to you guys. I'm just gonna read the main points I got from it. Cults and obsessive love. I decided to write about this because I wanted to understand the psychology of someone that's so obsessed with you for what you do and how to maintain that. Now, after I broke up with my ex, I started seeing a lot of girls at the same time. The thing about me is, apparently, from an online perspective, I possess a lot of the qualities that people, that a certain niche of women are looking for. If I ask them to view me objectively, they'd say, oh shit, he's cool. I like his aesthetic. I like the books that he reads. I like the fact that he reads books in general. Very different. I like how he draws. He's artistic. He seems sensitive. He seems sensible. He gives great advice. He's recovering from a past breakup. He's kind. He's nice. He's the type of person that will help out always. And lastly, he has goals, ambitions, and a way to get it. And the cherry on top is he's out of reach. Which is why I decided to write this essay. In a way, it's like following a cult. So, I decided to introduce two categories, two characters, you'd say. The first one is the cult leader, and the second one is the devotee. Now, the cult leader, from the cult leader's perspective, what drives them to gain devotees? What drives them to gain people who are devoted to him? The first one is initial attraction. When you see someone, when you hear about someone, especially when you hear about someone, you hear about their reputations, their achievements, what they've done in their career. And in a way, you project. You project because you're enamored by the things that they've done. That is the initial attraction. Next is the phase where you extend. Devotees tend to run their mouth. You don't gatekeep someone that you like. You don't gatekeep someone that you see yourself in. If you project towards someone, towards an object, towards an actor, towards a figure, you'd want to share everything about them. So it spreads. The more it spreads, the more people hear about it. And the more people hear about it, the more devotees you get. I could compare this to, for example, you are friends with a bunch of niche influencers. you like their aesthetic, you like what they stand for, you like their community, then you see an influencer that does exactly the same, you'd bring your niche friends to that influencer because you know that they'd like them. That's the extension phase. And the next, this is from the perspective of the cult leader, by the way. The next is the downfall. You see, gaining devotees is easy, but maintaining them isn't. Which is why, as I mentioned earlier, gaining friends is easy for me. Maintaining them isn't. Because you have to keep up appearances. And one more thing, as a cult leader, you're not looking for friends. You're looking for people who follow you. And they only follow you if you have something, a form of content for them to consume. If you run out of content, you run out of everything, which is why creativity and implementation are the two most important things to consider if you want to be a cult leader. By the way, cult leader isn't really the exact term used to it. It's a specific term solely for this essay. A cult leader is pretty much an influencer. An influencer that gains devotees based on them projecting themselves through you. Mainly because of achievements, because of aesthetics, because of goals and ambitions, because of personalities that they see themselves you possess. They see themselves in and you possess. The downfall is inevitable. The downfall phase, the third phase. It's initial attraction, expansion, and downfall. The downfall is the most inevitable part because as time passes, trends shift, niches shifts. And even though there's a lot of devotees, in the end, most of them will be gone. A few will stay loyal, but most of them will be gone. And if you don't have a lot, you lose your influence. You can't be a cult leader without a cult, can you? The extension phase lasts the longest time. But the downfall phase will put an end to everything. Because followers lose interest without continuous stimulation, creative stimulation, and stimulation can be overstimulation or understimulation, like, right? You can produce a lot of concepts, they'll be too overwhelmed to follow them. It's a bunch of new information in their head that they'll think, this guy's just spewing some nonsense. Either that or they enthusiastically consume it, but overstimulating is not good. In the 48 Laws of Power, there's a specific law for that. Pretty much, it's in today's dating scene, they call it the push and pull rule. In the 48 Laws of Power, an example is given where they use absence to their own advantage. That's what we should do creatively. But understimulation can also be bad because sooner or later, without stimulation, they get bored. But with overstimulation, they get tired. There has to be a middle ground, right? You see, people usually love those who love them back. But they want to be with those who are convenient and within reach. So sometimes you have to trade one for the other, right? It's an open door that they can freely go to, which leads to them having options. Does that make sense? You love those who love you back. If a lot of people love you, who will you love? The fact that there's multiple options will boost your ego, will boost the way you think of yourself. because there's many doors you can go to, there's many choices that you can take. This is the essence of being a cult leader. Why do they love you? I don't know. I said earlier, initial attraction, projection, all of those good shit. This leads to them having multiple one-sided love towards them. The concept of cults show us that people can follow certain people or ideologies that can be considered extreme. There's many different examples of this. Like for example, one type of cult all killed themselves just because they could, like, there's a specific one related to aliens and shit like that. They think that something is coming and they decided to kill themselves just so they wouldn't experience it, but turns out nothing really happened. That's the influence of cults. It's blind devotion. It's not good unless you put it to your advantage. Unless you put it in a way that helps you. And then there's the selfish side of me talking. That helps you and helps them. Which is why influencers exist. Does that make a good analogy? It does. That's the very concept of influencers in today's age. To influence. To have people blindly devoted to them so that the people can use their efforts to raise the cult leaders so that they can gain whatever they want: money, power, fame, any of those. There are some that use it to the betterment of themselves and the devotees, but there's some who just love the feeling of having people love them without them loving them back, without them even knowing them. Being loved makes you feel good, but being loved by many makes you feel even better. That's essentially the essence of being a cult leader. But what about the devotees? From their perspective, what does it mean to be blindly devoted? A good comparison of the devotee's perspective is how people follow trends or influencers online. It doesn't even matter if they inspire them, if they think that these influencers look good, so I should follow them, if they entertain them, if they have a similarity of interests and niche, common cult leaders, I guess. Common targets of devotees are artists, art, philosophers, literature writers, YouTubers, any influential figures. And the thing is, it centers around art. Everything centers around art. Even if you follow someone through looks, that's art. If you follow someone through the music that they create, that's art. If you follow someone because you like the books that they read, that's art. If you follow someone because they're good at a game, that's art. People are attracted to others who are good at art. Now, another one that I'd like to say is the mirror effect, which is essentially projection. From the perspective of the devotees, if they see themselves in you, they'll see themselves as you. They'll see you as the perfect version, the ideal version of themselves. Either that or they'll see you as something that they're chasing after. They'll see you as a benchmark that they have to chase. You're as much of a reflection to them than they are to you. That's what you think, right? But the fact that so many people feel this way towards one single cult leader, it doesn't make a difference. Because they don't know you. Right? Now, this is a one-sided mirror in which the devotees see themselves in the reflection. Because the projection of the cult leader allows him to be flexible yet niche. You see, they don't necessarily have to act like a mirror all the time. The devotees just have to follow them due to their ability to reflect parts of them to you. It's like you're seeing a mirror, but some parts are blacked out. You only see bits and pieces of yourself, and that's good enough for you because you still see yourself through them, even though not the full picture. It's even better if the cult leader is also a work in progress. So both of you can develop your skills, your hobbies, your niche, your art at the same time. The next point I'd like to make is, why do individuals show devotion in the first place? You see, devotion comes from the lack of identity. You need a way to express yourself. It's what's missing in today's world. People don't know themselves, and you need to know yourself. As Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, know yourself, know your enemy, and you'll win. But people don't know themselves. That's why they seek for something that can reinforce the way they think about themselves, which is why people lean to these MBTI tests, these zodiac signs, these enneagrams, these archetypes, just so they can have a sense of identity, even though it's false. Individuals need an outlet to copy in order for them to show their perfect personality, which is why some people follow celebrities because they think they're perfect, and the fact that they're imperfect makes them perfect. If that makes sense. I want to make another point about perfection, but that's gonna be actually right after this. They tend to copy those with already existing identities instead of building themselves from the ground up because it's easier to create. It's easier to copy than to create. And it's easier to copy than to become. So instead of working on yourself, you copy what the other person is doing, which is why cults work. I've had a few friends of mine start a sport because I'm good at the sport. Start reading certain types of books because that's the type of books that I read. Start listening to the same types of music as me because that's the music I listen to. Start drawing because they think I'm good at drawing. Start art in general because I'm good at art. Start playing certain instruments because I'm good at playing those instruments. Start dressing the way I do because that's the way I dress. They're enamored by the things that I do, so they decide to copy it. That's the essence of being a cult leader. There are many different ways one could act as the receiver of praise. You either get flattered because they copy you to be as close to you as possible, but you're you, right? Or you get pissed. Listen, I might be bipolar. I've had these thoughts in my mind for a while, and I know that I might actually be bipolar. I exhibit multiple personalities, and whenever these things happen to me, whenever someone copies everything I do, I juggle the feelings of love and hate hate because I'm getting insecure about myself. What if this person suddenly starts being better at me than the things I'm good at the things that they copied from me because they think I'm good at it? What if they're getting better than me at those things? And I get pissed. I want them to stop. I want them to find their own identity. Because what if they're better than me at the things that make me who I am? Even though I'm the one that introduced it to them. And it hurt my pride. I mean, luckily, none of them are. No one will be better than me at the things that I do. And on the other hand, I get flattered. I felt like a good person, inspiring someone to take on something. But that inspiration needs a limit. I don't want them to work as hard as I do, or harder than I do, just so they can catch up with me. I'm very competitive, you see. Which is why I stopped being friends with those who do that, to those who I see as a threat to my ego, in the hopes of it discouraging them from being who I am, who I was. And that's it for the essay about cults and obsessive love. I want to expand it a bit more just to make it longer, but I don't know what else to add. Maybe when I get another surge of inspiration, I can go. Connected to the topic is inspiration and discipline. Inspiration, motivation, and discipline. In order to be good at something, you have to be disciplined. But in order to create a masterpiece, you need to be inspired. In everything I do, I tend to act like it's art. That's why I think to myself, I need to be inspired so that I can make this good. It's hard being insecure, being narcissistic, being a perfectionist, but also being depressive. You can't juggle all these four at once. They contradict each other. I'm disciplined. I study every day. I do my tasks. I eat on a proper schedule. I read books. I try my best to. I do my homework on time. I'm focused heavily on academics while still leaving time for hobbies such as art, guitar, drawing, martial arts, and everything. I'm disciplined. But the thing is, lately, I've been feeling more and more of an artist than it. I've been feeling more of an artist than I do as a student. Which is why instead of discipline and motivation, I rely on inspiration. And lately, I've never been inspired. Which is why I'm losing my spark. But I think a change in mindset would do me wonders. Which is why I'm gonna force myself to be disciplined again. Starting later when I wake up. That's a promise. I'd like to talk about perfectionism next. But I've already wasted 45 minutes, wow, talking about the things that I want to get out of my head. And while talking, if you've noticed, I kept closing my eyes. I've been getting really dizzy. I need sleep, but I won't yet because I need to finish something so that the day tomorrow will be smooth. So, that's it for today. March 17, 1:30 a.m. That's everything I wanted to talk about. Losing your spark and recovering it. Cults and obsessive love. A bit of my past. That's all there is. Thank you for listening, if you did.